Welcome, everyone. This is Dr. Tim McGuinness. I'm the Managing Director of the Society of Citizens Against Relationship Scams, SCARS, a government-registered crime victims assistance and crime prevention nonprofit organization based in Miami, Florida, and Monterrey, Nuevo Leon, Mexico, as well as with offices and affiliates and partners in more than 60 countries around the world. This special conversation is going to allow us to talk with individual scam victims. This is part of a series, so we will be presenting each individual interview, and it gives us an opportunity to talk to scam victims openly, candidly, full transparency. We will not be editing their commentary. We will be presenting it whole, unedited, and complete. What we're talking about today are three topics. The first is to try and get a better feel for the victims around the world, different countries and cultures, about their scam experience itself. We'll talk for a few minutes about that. Then we'll move on to their experience after the scam ended. What was that like for them individually, personally, and also in the context of the country or culture within which they live? And then lastly, to explore a little bit about the challenges of helping, supporting scam victims in different countries and cultures, the barriers that are in the way, the challenges, the opportunities, and to the extent that victims can find support services within those countries. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today, Ms. Mexico. Is it okay if I use your real name?
Yes, no problem.
Okay. Vianey Gonzalez is both a scam victim, and she also manages SCARS Latino America. So she directly supports victims throughout the Spanish-speaking world. To begin, what I would like to do is ask you about your scam experience, how it began, what it was like, up to the point where it ended.
Okay. I was a victim 5 years ago. They contacted me by Facebook. He was using a military photo. At that time, I was new on social media. I ignored everything about scams, or security, privacy, everything. So I accept the request. And we start a friendship. After some months, he started seducing me. And at that time, I was already involved in his story, you know, that he was widow, a little boy, he was in mission in Afghanistan, all that story that they say. And after some months, I was involved in the emotional and the manipulation that they did, because he started telling me about he has problem with his son in the United States. So he asked me if he can send me some documents for his son. And I accept them because he knows that I have children too. And he knows that I will try to help him with his son. So I accept the document that he told me he was going to send me. And he told me that he will send me with a diplomatic. So there were two scammers at the same time talking with me by messenger. after that, the diplomatic have some problem in the Indonesia airport. So that's where they asked me for money for pay some things in the airport and all that story. So I start send money, but always are there some problems. So they ask me more money, and little by little I start sending. And he always tried to manipulate my emotion, but also is because they driving me crazy with all the messenger that I have from them, because they write me in the morning, in the afternoon, in the middle of the night. So I can see clearly the situation or what was happening, because I was without sleep or sometimes I don't eat. So I can see clearly the situation. And they use that very well to start manipulating me and accepting all that they tell me about the story. So after I send a lot of money, I stay with him around 1 year and a half. After I send a big amount of money, I told him I can't send any more money. So everything changed because he start being very bad with me, and he also threatened me, telling me that he is going to accuse me that I did money laundering. And as I don't know that he was a scammer, I was very afraid. So I sent more money because I was afraid that he will do that with me. And also he told me that he will going to kill my children. And that's why I sent more money. But at that time, it was a really nightmare.
When someone says that in Mexico, that's a very real threat.
Yes, I was very afraid. I remember that was the worst emotion that I can feel, because I was afraid for my children, because I really think that he could kill them, my children, or the police and the United States come from me because I was laundering money. So I was very afraid. It was a nightmare. And many times I asked him, where is the love? Because this starts with a love story. But some months ago, he was other. He was very bad with me. And I asked him, why are you so bad? Where is the love that you told me before? And he just insulted me, saying me that I was crazy, that everything. And so I was very confused with all that. But as I say, after 1 year and a half, I realized that many things that he told me is not longer consist. So I start investigate, and finally I discovered that was a stolen photo that was used for scam women.
Yeah.
And then I blocked him, and I didn't report because I didn't know and I didn't understand exactly what was happening. So I just blocked him. And at the beginning, I was in shock. I don't understand what happened. I ignored, and I couldn't believe that I lost so much money with someone that I even know who was.
So what happened after the scam ended?
It was difficult at that moment because to think clearly how I was going to face the emotional and economic damage that the scam made me. I was very confused. I know that my children are safe because he was not real, but at the same time, I lost everything. My house, all the money that I have. So I don't know. I was very confused because I don't have anything for my children. I have 3 children. And they ask me for things and I don't know how to tell them that I haven't anything for them. And was very sad for me and very hard at that time because my children was small. My little children have 3 years old at that time. So I stayed some time at the street looking for help, but nobody helped me because at that time, 5 years ago, here in Mexico, the police ignore everything about that. We don't have help from anybody. So it was very, very difficult after the scam. Fortunately, I found a scar page, and I remember I sent a messenger asking for help, and they helped me and joined me in the support group. For me, that group was the beginning of the recovery and education about the scam and how to face them, because I really don't know how to do it. I was very confused because I don't understand how I can do that, how I can send all that money to someone that I don't really know. So it was very hard at the beginning, but thanks to the group and the support, I can recover.
Okay. So in the last 5 years, obviously there have been many, many changes in the way Latin American police respond to these crimes. I know that in your city, Monterrey, Nuevo León, Mexico, they now have a dedicated cybercrime police unit, as well as in the capital for the federal police and the regions of the country, and in other countries in Latin America and especially in Spain. Perhaps you could talk for a couple of minutes about what you hear from other victims and also what you think still needs to be done to make this process better and easier for scam victims in the Spanish-speaking world.
Well, the situation in Latin America about the scams in Spain is much different because it's an European country, so they are similar as Europe or USA because they have support from the authorities. The difference between Latin America, because here we don't have much support from the police or institutions about support or information. And the victim in Latin America, the person around the victim are sometimes very hard with them. So many victims in Latin America prefer don't talk about that because they don't feel good talking about that. Yes. So there are some countries like Argentina, Chile, or Colombia where there is a little difference because in those countries are already alerts in some institutions like MoneyGram or Western Union. They have some restrictions if you send money. For example, in Chile, they don't let you send more than 5,000. In some way, they avoid to lose a lot of money because they don't leave you send more money. But for example, here in Mexico, if I go to MoneyGram, I can send money 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and they didn't tell me nothing about that. But in other countries, like I say, Argentina, Colombia, Chile, in that institution, if you send money, they tell you, are you sure that you know that person? Because remember, there are scams. So maybe we need to do more things, but the change are changing little by little. But we need more information. We need to talk more about the scam. But something very important after we were victims of scam is that we have to report. Because if we don't report, the police still ignoring about this.
Right.
That is the difference, because that I see in Europe or USA, there are more reports than Latin America. That's why in Latin America, there is not
As much awareness with the police.
Yes.
Yes. Do you find that Latin American victims are good about sharing information with family and friends?
No, because I said that the family is hard, the society is hard with the victims. So they prefer don't tell anybody, because, you know, I have a support group in Spanish, and always when they talk with me, ask me about don't tell anybody about this, because they don't want anybody know about they were scammed.
Right. We find in the United States especially that the minute you open your mouth, you find that there's 2 or 3 other people right near you who have been scam victims, or everybody knows someone who has been a scam victim, whether it's in the US or Canada or in Europe. Asians also don't talk about it as much, but in Latin America, you never know, even though they're scammed just as much.
The difference is Latin America, they were scammed or was a scam victim, and they act like this not happened to them. And that is so bad, because they need to ask for help and try to recover, because the scam is not just something that don't have importance. This is very hard, and we have to face that.
Okay.
But the victim in Latin America live like they don't have a scam. That's the difference. They still working or doing the things like they never be scam victims.
And that has to change. People have to become.
But in the bottom, they are with sad, or they are with depression, because they don't talk about that, and all that bad feelings is there.
And yet this is the novela culture where everybody talks about it in novelas.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Vianey. Great job that you do working with us. And I thank you for the information that you shared with us today about your own personal experience and your insights about what needs to improve and the ways in which we can do that for America Latina. So thank you again for joining us and letting us make this public and record this today. So thank you.
Thank you. I just want to thank Scar for all the support and all you have given me, for everything I have learned, and for helping me to recover my life after the scam.
Very good. Thank you so much. I want to thank you for joining us today for this incredible interview and the insights and information about how scams work, the experience that victims face after the scam, and insights into ways in which both SCARS and society as a whole can make the process easier for victims and present better options for their emotional recovery after these events occur. This video is copyright 2022, Society of Citizens Against Relationship Scams, Inc. Thank you for joining us. For more information about SCARS, visit againstscams.org. To learn more about scams and scammers, visit romancescamsnow.com. If you're insisting on looking at scammer photos, visit scammerphotos.com. And of course, to report scams, report them to the Federal Trade Commission, to the FBI through ic3.gov, and on the SCARS portal, anyscam.com. Thank you for joining us today.